Hello, everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my Business Basics series. Today, we're going to do the last and the second part of our Business Basics class from Monday, The Power of Introverts. So far, we've read, well, on your own, you should have read the rest of the article that we began in class. Even if you didn't, there's enough for you to do that you'll get a lot out of the class. But we're talking about how at least one particular author thinks that we have that we've maybe not taken advantage of our employees. That there's a certain stereotype about how you should behave as an employee that is the dominant way of behaving. And it's maybe, at least in the media, it's how you think about business people. So she's trying to challenge that, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to, as a class, ultimately decide how we might want to reimagine the workplace in light of some of the ideas that she's presenting in the article. So all of that and more coming up in just a moment. First, just a quick introduction before we begin. I'm going to put my name on the board so you can see who I am. There we go. So, I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, coming at you from Lisbon, Portugal, to bring you today's class. By the way, if you click on the Verbling chat window, and that I can't speak today. If you click on that link, it'll take you to my profile page where you can follow me and see all my upcoming group classes. You can also schedule a private tutoring class with me where I will work with you to create a personal learning plan that'll get you to your goals as soon as possible. Okay? Send me a message and I'll find time for you in my schedule. So that's a bit about me, and I've done a little introduction to the class. Let me get the presentation on board, and I want to begin. I want to focus on vocabulary first, and then I've got some things to do using that vocabulary. But before we do anything, I want you to hear from an expert in the field, someone that I think you're going to find who is to be pretty interesting. So let's do this. Let me get the material. Oops. Let me get the material on the screen. There you go. And if you want to open it, there's the link. And give me just 1 second, because I want to give you, I want to play a little video for you as well. But give me just a second to copy the link to the video. Give me just a second here. Yeah, here we go. Let me see if I can copy and paste this for you in the screen. Now, I'm going to play this inside the Hangout. If you have any trouble, don't worry. I'm going to put the link for you, and you can watch it in a separate tab. Okay? So I think we're going to start with the video first. This is one of the experts that you're going to be talking about. He's mentioned. So there's the link. Okay? And I'm going to open the YouTube app and play this in just a second. Okay, let me just greet everyone before I do that. So, first of all, welcome back, Miko and Sasha. Hello.
Hello again.
Giancarlo and Raphael. Welcome back, everyone.
Hello.
Raphael, if you weren't here in Monday's class, don't worry. You'll catch up really quickly. Okay.
Sorry, I have a very bad connection today. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. And let's say a quick hello to. Whoop. Yeah, there we go. Let's say a quick hello to Elle. I think you're new. Hello,
Yes.
Elle.
Hi, how are you?
Am I saying your name right?
Yes,
Fantastic. And where are you from, Elle?
I'm from Thailand, but I live in USA,
Oh, really? Where in the States?
West Virginia.
In West Virginia.
Yes.
Wow. How did you get from Thailand to West Virginia?
Oh, I first came here to California, to San Francisco first, and
Oh, yeah?
then after that I get married, and then I have to, because of my husband's job, I have to move. I have to follow him everywhere because his job have to travel a lot.
Oh, really, really. So, and how is West Virginia? It's okay?
Yes, nothing to see much, but if you love something like nature, nature, like you like to see some trees, a lot of trees. Yes, this is the best place because when it turns
Lots
to
of trees.
fall, the trees just turn the color to many colors, like the drawing, like the picture.
Right, right. In the fall, right?
Yes, yes,
Everything changes colors. Yes.
yes, I
Very
like
good.
it.
Okay, excellent. Okay, well, nice to have you.
Thank
And
you.
welcome back also, Lena, as well. I just saw you pop in. Hello, Lena. How are you?
Hi, John Eric. Hi, everyone. I'm fine, thank you.
Fantastic. Okay. So listen, all of you, if you're having problems with your connection, you might not be able to see the video. So in that case, I'm going to ask you to click the link in the chat window and watch the video outside of class. I'm going to put the same video in the group chat. There you go. But I'm going to try to play this inside the classroom because I think it's a good place for us to start, and it's kind of short. Okay? The link doesn't work for you. Uh-oh. Hang on a second. Let me see this. Maybe there's something wrong with the link. Give me a second. Let me try it. Oh, you know what? Oh, this is not a YouTube video. I can't play it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can get a better link. Because you're right. The link is not working for me either. So, give me a second here. Let me see if I can just do a quick YouTube search for the same video. Give me a second. Maybe I can find a better, an easier version of it. Give me a second. YouTube, Brian Little, The Passion of an Introvert. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Although that's 18 minutes long, that's not the one I want. Give me a second here. Introvert. Give me just a second. Oh, no, this is not the one I want. I want to find, there's a really short one. This is really long. All right. No problem. Maybe we'll just watch just his introduction. Let me see. Give me a second here. This is not the video. I think that the link is outdated, the one that I gave you. But hang on a second. Let's try this again. Let's try something else. Okay, I'm going to give you a. If I share my screen, Sasha, you're not going to be able to hear the audio. That's the problem. So I think there's no way I can send the audio through the window. But okay, let's try this in a different way. I'm going to give you a second link. This time it's a YouTube video. Okay, this one I know that I can play inside. By the way, let's say a quick hello to is it Jennerson? Jenverson. How do I say her name? Jenverson?
It's Jerison.
Jerison. Ah, because it looks like a V. And where are you from?
I'm from Brazil. At the moment in São Paulo.
Jefferson. Okay, yes, I was reading it wrong. Sorry. Hello, Jefferson. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm fine.
Excellent.
And you?
I could be better.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to play just the very beginning of this video, and then we're going to go right into a discussion, and we're going to try to also just clarify some of those key vocabulary words from the article on Monday. If you haven't read it, don't worry about it. You'll pick up really quickly. And oh wait, what's this link here? Mikkel, is this another one?
It's short videos about, maybe one of them is the video that you are, the power of introverts, but short videos only.
Yeah. But it's this one by Brian Little specifically that I was looking for. Oh, there's a link to my class. When you put introvert, my class comes up on my computer.
Okay.
No, I don't see it. It's probably no, I don't see it. Well, let's try this. Let's just watch the very introduction, and if it's not relevant, I'll stop it. But let's give it a try. Okay. So let me just go back to my link. Give me just a second. Copy location. Okay. So I'm going to open the YouTube app, accept it. Okay. And then we'll see if we can watch the first minute or so of this, and then that will start our discussion. Okay? Here we go. It's opening right now. I hope it's opening for you. Yep, here we go. Wow. This is a little bit slow. Okay. And it's not opening for me. So you know what? Forget the video because it's not opening. I can't open it. Okay, never mind. If I can't open it, then I can't expect you to open it either. So let's try something else. Okay, let's go here. I'm going to skip ahead to after the video. Let's go over. Yeah, okay. Actually, I want to start with the vocabulary before we move on. So for those of you who have read the article, this will be a little bit easier. For those of you who haven't, you can still participate by giving your opinion in words that you know. Okay? So the first thing, before we do anything else, is let's talk about vocabulary. It asks us here in slide 9 to find all the adjectives in the article that are used to describe character traits and write them below. So we're going to start there by doing a little brainstorming, and then we're going to see which ones are positive and which ones are negative and which ones maybe are a little bit of both. Okay, so I want to get your opinion first. Okay, what are some vocabulary words from the reading that come to mind to describe character traits?
Can I start?
You can, of course.
Because I was in our previous lesson, it is easy for me. So I found only 2 positive traits. It is sensitive and cautious.
Okay.
I think shy is neutral between positive and negative, and I found several negative traits: antisocial, lopsided, passive, aloof, impulsive.
Oh, that's a lot. So let's summarize there for a second. So we have sensitive and cautious, antisocial, aloof,
lopsided,
passive. Give me a second. Sorry.
Impulsive.
Okay. I'm going to put this in the chat window for us. Lopsided, passive and impulsive. Passive and impulsive. Give me a second here. Sorry, a little hard to type. Okay. Now the only question I have for you then is lopsided. Is that a character trait? That's my question. Is lopsided a character trait? It's definitely an adjective.
It's kind of behavior, probably, mostly.
Let's see if we can find it, because I think it's a great word. But let's see if we can find it. I think it was in the beginning, right? Do you remember where it was?
It's on the second screen, teacher.
Okay.
The paragraph begins with Of course.
Okay, there it
In
is.
the second paragraph, after NPR.
After NPR. In the
It's more
second
just to
paragraph.
say, yeah.
Okay, can you read the line for us, Giancarlo?
Sure. It's more just to say that we are at a point in our culture and in our workplace culture where we have gotten too lopsided or lopsided.
Ah, okay. So, Albina, you are absolutely right. They are using that to describe a character trait. Okay, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think would be a good synonym for lopsided in this context? For those of you, we'll get to aloof in just a second, by the way. But so lopsided is not normally what I would use to describe a person, but here it is. You're absolutely right. So what do you think might be a good synonym for lopsided in this case?
Limited.
Limited. Okay. If something is lopsided, is it how would it look if a building is lopsided? Can anyone think of a very famous lopsided building? There's one in
The Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower is not lopsided.
Yes.
I don't think so. Why do you say so? Why do you think it's lopsided?
Because lopsided is not right. It's not right. It's not equal. I think I read something about it, and the lopsided means that. How can I explain it? Lopsided is something that is not 100% right. Talking about the floor. I mean,
Okay.
it goes to the right maybe, or it goes to the left, but it's not erect. It's not completely
Not completely
erect.
straight up.
Straight up.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So, is there another? Go ahead. Yeah.
No. It's not the Eiffel Tower. I'm sorry. It's the
Pizza
pizza.
Tower.
The Pizza Tower. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the one I had in mind.
Yeah.
In English, we'll call this the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
That's the one.
That's the one. Okay, that's lopsided. Excellent. So, for some reason, I'm having a lot of trouble writing in the chat window today. There you go. Okay, very good, very good. And so if a person is lopsided, how might we, I mean, what are they doing, or what might we observe if they're lopsided to call them that? This is for all of you, class. So if a person is lopsided, Albina said a person might be limited. Okay, good. In this context, why are we lopsided? For those of you who read the article, for those of you who didn't, it's not a problem. You can read it later. But for those of you who did, why might we be lopsided in our culture, in our workplace culture? What are we missing?
When we have a strange behavior in some situation, or when you change your behavior?
When you work under high pressure?
Okay. It's got more to do with that, yeah. So, and do you have any free time? What do you do in your free time? Not you personally, but what do lopsided people do in their free time?
Work.
Maybe.
Work. They don't have so much free time.
Yeah, or they do, but they don't know how to spend it, and they just work. They work more. Or so it may be here that's sort of like being brainwashed or something. Okay, so that's a really good word, Albina, actually, because you know what? It didn't even occur to me that that was a character trait, but here it really is a character trait. You're too focused on work, and probably we've got this idea that the only place where valuable ideas come from is work. It's work, 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 work. And they're trying to say that there's maybe more balance needed.
They don't have a balanced life.
Something like that, yeah. Okay, very good. Aloof. How would you, what would, let's see, what would an aloof person do to behave aloofly, class? What might be a behavior of an aloof person? Anyone want to give an example? If I'm behaving aloof, how would you know?
You are not open so much. You try to hide your feeling.
Okay.
You don't communicate. You don't express your emotion and feeling openly.
Okay, very good, very good. If I'm aloof, will I look you right in the eyes when I'm talking to you?
No.
Probably not. I'll probably avert my eyes. Avert my eyes. Good vocabulary word, by the way. Avert your. And if
normally this kind of person is a little shy.
Is a little shy, yeah. So aloof is more than just shy. Shy is part of it, but also, does this person have lots and lots and lots of friends? Is an aloof person very social? Class?
No.
Probably not. At least an aloof person gives the appearance of not wanting social contact. It might not be true, but that's how they come across. Okay. Sensitive, caution, antisocial, loose, lopsided, passive, and impulsive.
I think if they talk, they talk in small groups, no in large groups.
Well, if you're an aloof person, you might not talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Right? Aloof gives the impression of being, another word that Albina said, antisocial. So aloof and antisocial have something in common. Okay.
He prefers to be alone.
Preferring to be alone, yeah. And
the meaning of introvert, right?
Say again, please. Repeat.
Same meaning of introverts.
Not at all. No, because here, look, I'm going to give you my opinion, but the rest of you, class, you should tell me what you think. In my opinion, this little article and the discussion we had on Monday was all about changing the way we look at introverted people and what an introvert is. Completely changing the concept of that. Because right now, we have a very negative idea about what it means to be an introvert. And the author that we've discussed a little bit on Monday is giving us a very different perspective. So I would say no. Being introverted is not the same as being aloof. It's the stereotype of being introverted. So we'll talk about more about that in just a second.
Okay.
Are there any other keywords we could add to our description besides the ones that Albina said? Any other keywords come up? I can think of 1, 2, 3, 4. I can think of 4 more. Do you want to know what they are? No. I'm going to tell you whether you like it or not.
Of course we won't.
Oh, okay, good. Because everyone's quiet. Everyone's very aloof.
We are very polite, just polite.
Don't be polite. Oh my God. I'm not worthy. I'm going to give you 3 more that I think were really good in the article. Magnetic, charismatic, dismissive. And there's another one too. And I'm going to make another distinction too. So let me give you these 3. You can see in the chat window, and I'm going to give you another distinction between. No, I'm not going to give you a distinction. I want you to do this. I'm talking too much. I'm going to shut up. Sasha, negative adjectives from the ones we mentioned or ones you'd like to add. Look at the blue circle and tell me what goes in the blue circle. Give me at least 2 that go in the blue circle, Sasha.
Okay, negative. Aloof and antisocial.
Aloof and antisocial. Sounds good.
Can I ask you a question?
You can.
About
many questions.
Text, second paragraph. It starts, which makes it even more important than you check in with them regularly. About the structure,
which paragraph? Which slide? Sorry. Slide 6.
Yes, on on the right side, which makes it on top.
On top, of course, no one is completely introverted or extroverted. There.
And yeah, down the fourth, which make it even more.
I don't know where you are. Right or left?
On the right side.
On the right side, the paragraph that begins with however. However,
yes, a little bit down.
Oh, I see it. Okay, Maria got how do you say that? I can't pronounce her name.
No, not that. Which makes. No.
Yeah, that's it. Which makes it even more important that you check in with them regularly.
And the phrase "check in with them." Why can I say just check them regularly?
No. No, because check them would mean examine. Like the doctor checks. I've got someone getting a big echo from someone. Let me just mute you for just a second. Okay, yeah, it's from you. A doctor checks you for a disease, like examines your body. But check in is like a social call. I want to check in with you, or it also could be about the progress of something, right? Could also be about the progress. I want to check in with you about the project. I want to see how far you've gotten along. So check-in is basically a visit, for lack of a better word. I'm going to check in with you. I'm going to visit you later. So I can do it in business to see how things are going, or I can do it in an emotional way. I want to check in with you to see how you're feeling. But it has something to do with a visit. And check alone is just an examination. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Okay. So just one or two more things about vocabulary, and then we're going to launch into our discussion here. So Sasha said, aloof and antisocial are good words in the negative box. Lena, give me 2 words that go in the positive, not box, the circle, the positive circle, the pink circle.
For example, charismatic. Then magnetic, I'm not sure. Is it in a positive way?
I think it is.
Yes, then magnetic.
We tend to think of magnetic as a good thing.
Yes.
A magnetic personality. Excellent. So I'll put that in the chat window as well. Okay. And let me see. How about, let's go to someone new here. How about Jefferson? In the middle, there's a kind of a gray area or a gray zone. So I'm curious, what words do you think go right in the middle between positive and negative? Look at those words in the chat window and tell me which words that we've said, or which words do you know that are character traits that are both positive and negative, or could be either positive or negative. What would you say?
Let me see. I think cautious.
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 Good. I agree.
And let me see. Maybe a sensitive.
Sensitive. Well, why would you say sensitive? Is that more positive or more negative usually?
Usually I think it's more negative. Because it could be a problem socially. Someone very sensitive, I think that person will not accept any opinion.
Okay. So let's make a little distinction here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, just to be clear, so if it's I don't agree with sensitive in this case, only because what you're saying is good, but we have a different word for that. So if we say someone is By the way, a W means word or vocabulary. So you're going to see a little W. If you're going to see, someone says over sensitive, then sensitive can be negative. Oversensitive. But if you just say sensitive, I think in everyday language, that's usually seen as a positive. That means someone, like the opposite of sensitive would be someone who's like a brute or a thug. Right? So I think it would be probably, we'd use a different word to make it negative. But let me give you another idea. What about the word impulsive? What about the word impulsive? Couldn't that be positive and negative?
It could be either opinion, either side.
Yeah, it could. It could.
I can't accept this word.
So if you're impulsive, that might mean that you are free and you do things impulsively, but it's not negative. On the other hand, if you're impulsive, like an impulsive shopper, you might buy things you have no control. So it really could go both ways. Okay, so let me just put also the list of negative words that we mentioned before. Here are all the words that I would say are negative that go in the blue. Okay, so now you've got the blue, the pink, and the gray area. The negative words, we missed shy earlier. So shy, antisocial, passive, aloof, dismissive, not passionate. These are all the words in the article. Now, we're going to use those to do a few activities, okay? So if there's any questions about the vocabulary, just ask at any time. But I want to jump forward, forget about all this for now, to this. I'm going to do a little bit of reading and a little bit of thinking, okay? So, let's see. Ms. L, do you think you could read that this discussion point here, Are You an Introvert? This is an excerpt from Susan Cain's book. Could you read that part for us?
Sure. Are you an introvert? No one is either completely introverted or completely introverted.
Completely extroverted.
Completely extroverted.
Good.
But certain personality traits may be a sign that you have introverted tendency. Here are a few of them. You prefer listening to talking.
Careful on that one. Prefer. You prefer.
You prefer listening to talking. You prefer one-on-one conversation to group activities. You prefer to express yourselves in writing. You tend to think before you speak. You prefer not to show or discuss your work with others until it is finished. You don't enjoy multitasking.
Good. Let me see. Anna Carolina, can you define that word multitasking for us? That's a word you hear a lot these days. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Or can you give an example? What is multitasking?
Well, it means the ability to do a lot of things at the same time.
Exactly. And do them reasonably well, too.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. So I say this is used a lot nowadays because I think part of what the article was about on Monday, and part of what we're talking about Monday and today, is how work is set up, how the normal workplace is, and if it favors a certain kind of person or not. So multitasking seems to be the normal way we work nowadays. At least that's what you kind of read about in the media. I don't know if you agree or not, but it seems like as the world becomes more and more virtual, we sort of don't have the normal time limits. We're kind of working all the time, and we're always online. So multitasking, we've always got to be reading emails while talking to people, while having meetings, while taking phone calls, right? So you don't enjoy multitasking. So this is one of the signs that Susan Cain says is part of being an introvert. So let's talk about this now. And my goal here by the end of class is for us to, as a group, redesign the workplace in light of what we're learning about introverts. So I'm going to ask these questions, and I want us just to have a discussion first. As we're having this discussion, I want you to go back to your positive, negative, and gray zone words from the chat window and use them as actively as you can. Get that vocabulary into your head, all right? Use it actively. Use the word aloof. Use the word dismissive if you can. So first question, do you recognize yourself, not your colleagues, but do you recognize yourself as an introvert now that you've looked at some of Susan Cain's ideas? Don't be shy.
Yes, we are very polite, too polite. Yes, I recognize myself as almost 100% introvert. And now, after reading this article, I understood myself better, my behavior and my problems. So it was very useful for me, because some people say you are strange, your behavior is strange. I'm not strange, I'm just different.
Exactly.
Yes, so some people really think that I'm aloof, and they want me to do something at the same time. So they want me to be multitasking, but
Right.
I hate it. And
they want me to multitask.
Yeah.
They want me to multitask. We have to change the form of the word there. They want me to multitask.
To multitask, yes, we need to verb, okay. And I hate to be unprepared. Even before our lesson today, yesterday, I spent 1 hour to do homework, and I really enjoy it. So I always want to be prepared. Yes, really. And so I studied this article very carefully, and I like to know about the subject of discussion before, to be prepared. So it doesn't make life easier, but at least I understand that it is normal. It's just a part of my personality. And I am not aloof, and I am not lopsided, so in some kind of way, but I'm just a kind of person like this.
Yeah, it's just different people are wired differently. I have a theory that the world is built for extroverts, and that's not a good thing. This is not a question that's on the screen, but I'm just going to ask it to you as a group, because it's something that struck me when I read. It made an impression on me. Do you remember, if you haven't read the article, don't worry, but for those of you who read it, do you remember the example of how living in an extroverted society? Do you remember the negative example? They said living in a world of extroverts has led to some major problems. Do you remember one of the problems that was mentioned in the article, just out of curiosity? I'm sure Albina is not the only one who read it. Maybe she is. What problems in the world were or could be caused by extroverts, in your opinion?
They are too impulsive and to make decision immediately without thinking. I don't remember exact part of this text, but I think it's something about it. So it should be a balance between extrovert and introvert in the world and in each office, in each organization.
If I remember right, give me a second here. I think they talked about, give me a second here, let me just see if I can quickly find the passage. Give me 1 second. Well, I think that they talked about how the workplace is designed for extroverts.
Yes, it is open play.
Loop size?
Say again, please?
Loop size.
Lopsided?
No, loop size.
I don't know. Write it for me in the chat window.
Sure.
Okay. Because I couldn't quite. Lopsided. Yeah.
Oh, lopsided. Okay, lopsided.
Yeah, as an adjective, lopsided.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask you a question a different way. How do you know if a workplace is remember the word I used on Monday, biased? How do you know if your workplace is biased for extroverts? What would be how would you what would be what would it look like? What does it look like if it's more for extroverts and introverts?
Because the place is without the walls. It is
Exactly.
an open place,
Open plan.
open plan. Okay.
Exactly. That's it. That's it. So I use that word. I'm just reminding you from Monday. Biased is unfairly prejudiced, right? You can talk about racial bias, but there can be any kind of bias. It doesn't have to be only for, racism or sexism. Here, if you have an open plan office, that might be an example of a biased workplace because it favors people who are really comfortable in crowds and they like to talk loud and they have no problem with it. And now, what's the problem if you have these introverted qualities like Susan Cain is talking about? What's going to be the problem there?
You don't have,
Say again?
you don't have place to for solitude.
For solitude and
To be
yeah.
To be alone.
And why is that important?
Because an introvert needs a place to reflect, to think it over, to put his head down to his work alone without interfering from other people around him.
Exactly. So I think one of the points that was made is that some people can't handle the stimulus. It's very stressful just to be around noise, just that, or just to be in a position where they have to talk before they have more time to think about it. Okay. Oh, by the way, sorry, was that for me, Anna, or was that for Elle? I didn't understand.
Pardon?
For anyone, because I don't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I didn't see it. Okay.
Can you explain it, Elle? So we talked about it earlier, but Anna Carolina wasn't here. Go ahead.
Okay.
Give us an example. What is it?
Sure.
What do you think, Elle?
Having one side heavier or lower than the others, not balanced.
Not balanced, exactly. That's the key word. So being lopsided could be an emotional lopsided. It could be not balanced, like having a bad life-work balance. Or it could be physically not balanced, such as the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Pisa, Italy, right? The building wasn't balanced and now it's on an angle. So lopsided could be physical or it could be a metaphor. Okay? So if I work all the time, I might be a lopsided person, right? I'm not balancing my work and my free time. Okay? So unbalanced is a good way to describe it. Very good, Al. Can you identify with how extroverts and or introverts are described in the article in general? We've talked a bit about, because I think we're getting behind what is an extrovert and looking at it in a different way. So can you personally identify with how extroverts or introverts are described? Let's hear from some people who haven't spoken yet. What about you, Miko? You've been awfully quiet.
I don't know what's the meaning of these two words in the article, but I can imagine that it's a new way to describe them. Maybe this.
But if you have any questions, let's clear it up. You mean you're not sure what's meant by introvert or extrovert?
In this article, because
this article, it's using the same meanings as we normally do. There's nothing. Yeah, go ahead.
But offers a different perspective of
on introverts. Yeah.
Maybe.
And the perspective is exactly what you see on screen. So even if you haven't read the article, it's not important. Those points that Elle read, that's like the new perspective. That if you see yourself with these qualities, it doesn't mean you're a freak. It means that you're wired differently. Your brain works a little differently. It's nothing to do with intelligence either. But that you can't handle or you don't enjoy the stimulus of being around people. Or you do, but in a very... You see, Mikhail, earlier I wanted to show a video of this guy, Dr. Brian Little. And the reason I wanted to show it is because he's extremely extroverted. He's funny. He's kind of a famous, psychologist. And after he gives a speech, he likes to go and hide in the bathroom for a half an hour.
Yeah. I think that it's something that happens with a lot of people. You can be very extrovert in some situation, but just the opposite in some others, no?
Yeah. In fact, they compare this guy, Dr. Brian Little, to Robin Williams, the comic, the guy who committed suicide earlier this year, who is probably seen as a very extroverted person, but he's very famous for being extremely shy in his personal life. So it kind of reminds me of that.
And speaking about our public life on the internet, I think that happens sometimes the same. Some people that are very, very extrovert on the internet, they are just the opposite in the real life, no, not on the virtual life.
Yeah, because maybe on the internet you've got a webcam, you're in your room like me, and it feels intimate. But there's millions of people watching. Millions and millions of people watching us right now. By the way, don't forget your keywords like shy, antisocial, passive. What was the other ones we used? Impulsive, cautious, sensitive, oversensitive. Try to use these as we discuss these questions, okay? Everyone.
Yes.
Not just you, Nico, I'm saying everyone. The next question for the group. I'm going to pose this directly to Giancarlo because you've been way too quiet, Giancarlo. You've been way too introverted. Giancarlo, have you encountered any difficulties at work because you are an introvert working with extroverts, or vice versa?
I would like to mention something. Maybe in different countries it's the same. But in Mexico, sometimes when we are in our jobs and we have a meeting, managers and leaders expect you to speak and to be open, and to express in the right time and in the same moment, and explain and give your personal point of view about anything.
It's extremely annoying, isn't it? It's annoying when you're expected to have an answer without having time to think.
And if you don't, some people think that you are not interested in the topic they are discussing.
Right.
And from now, John, I learned from this article something very interesting. Introvert people don't mean they are negative, or they are totally aloof, or they are not interested in the topic they are talking about or we are talking about. Introvert people means that people have the right to think twice and to organize the things, and maybe in a better moment people can express themselves in a most positive way. So what I want to say is that sometimes reunions or meetings make us to take decisions at the moment, and
maybe bad decisions as well. When you're forced to make a decision without reflection, maybe they're bad decisions.
Exactly. And from now on, if we think that we must reflect on our comments, it could be better now than just to give some ideas at the moment time. So we must be reflective instead of talkative or extrovert people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I couldn't agree more. What the rest of you think about what Giancarlo's point is? I don't want to be the only one speaking.
I agree. Yes, and sometimes I think that now it's like a tendency to collect a lot of ideas, but without any reflection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brainstormings and this kind of situation, I think that sometimes they are going in this way, and it's not the best way.
Yeah, I think brainstorming is much better done alone sometimes.
Yeah. or after you are reflect about the topic, no, not that just at the first moment.
Yeah, the idea there was addressed in the article too, that brainstorming was supposed to be done as a group, because only when you're with a group of people can you have lots of ideas. And Susan Cain is trying to dismiss this idea that that is the only way to work. It's not to say that it doesn't work, but it's just not that simple. I think that's what she's getting at. It's just not as simple as we made it out to be, or as the stereotype goes. Okay, very good. Let's see. Anna, how do you think your workplace could be improved to make it more comfortable for introverts, based on what we talked about so far?
Oh my gosh.
Any ideas?
What's a question? Yes.
So, for example, do you have a big open plan space? Is it a place which is maybe more biased for extroverts?
No.
No?
No. No, because my gosh, because each one has a function there. It's not a company. We don't have to develop any product.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, I will thinking of an answer just to talk, even if I don't know the answer.
Well, there's no right or wrong. It's
Okay.
just an opinion.
Okay, they could allow the introverts people write instead of talking
There you go.
to jot down their ideas and.
There you go. That's a very good idea. Why not? Yeah, absolutely. Maybe. So what you're saying is that maybe sometimes people aren't going to say what they're not going to say what they really mean, or maybe not have the best idea just because it's face to face. And if you have a little more time, if you have time to write, you're going to come up with a better answer.
Yes.
Yeah. Great suggestion.
Especially if the person is shy.
Absolutely.
It can be easier.
And it costs nothing. So you don't need to invest in changing the layout of the place, right? It costs nothing. Free ideas are the best ideas. Okay, very good, very good. Well, I'm just look. What I wanted to get to here was, how should the workplace be changed? Also, another issue is whether being an extrovert is a bad thing. I think the point is that what we're dealing with in the modern workplace is something left over from the 1950s or earlier. This idea that you're in a crowded place and you're in constant competition. And I think we've moved on from that. Maybe we live in a more subtle world, so that competition exists, but maybe this 1980s cutthroat environment where everyone's against each other trying to move up the ladder, that it doesn't produce the best results, and we've seen that in catastrophic ways. Think about the global financial crisis, right? Everyone's trying to put money in their pocket, and all kinds of illegal things were done, and it had repercussions all around the world. So I wonder if that's connected. So what I want to get at here to finish class is, how should we redesign the workplace? I think Anna has a great suggestion. Costs nothing. What if we have more writing and balance that with the face-to-face kind of meetings that we do? Plus, how useful are face-to-face meetings? Don't you think there's a lot of time wasted? A lot of people say that meetings are not that efficient anyway. So if you have better meetings and more time to reflect, maybe that'd be one change. What do the rest of you think?
Depend on the subject, John. I think for some kind of subject, it's better to have a meeting face to face, and for another kind of meetings, it's better to have a meeting in an open place.
But in general, if we had, let's imagine we are given this task. We have to redesign the modern workplace. Okay, I know we don't.
The trend, I think, it is to build open places.
That's the trend.
Yes.
Well,
I would
maybe.
add.
Sorry.
Ladies first.
Okay. I would add to this turn the place more privative, because it's like at my job, for example, if the place is very open, and we don't have so much privacy, and sometimes it's difficult to talk with another person at your side, and you have not so you don't have so much way to speak in more privacy. Sometimes you have a opinion, or you want to speak a little less formal, and you can't because you are in a place very crowded and everyone is seeing you. Is very difficult to dialogue this way.
Okay, so what if so for example, what could we do to change that? What if we added,
I think it could be more, the place could be changed to give you more privacy in your place, not so visible for everyone.
So what if we build privacy rooms specifically to have intimate meetings in the workplace? What do you think?
I think it's important. It's very important.
So instead of having big meeting rooms, what if we had little meeting rooms where only maybe 2 people could be, right?
Well,
an idea.
John, in my personal point of view, it has to deal not with just with the place, open or closed, or 2 people or 1 people. Meetings must be reorganized, having the rules or having the concept that maybe one meeting can be reorganized for a second time in order to discuss better the first or the previous ideas secondly.
So change the process itself of how we do business, maybe.
Yes.
Exactly. Not to have just one answer in the first meeting, but maybe in the second one, in order to have the chance to the participants to reorganize their ideas or to have a better idea.
Okay, very good. Any other ideas?
Yes.
Go for it.
Maybe before the meetings, they could do some team building, some relaxation sessions, and then people would feel at ease to speak up there.
Like what? I'm interested.
Like an activity to get the rid of the stress, and maybe stretch stretch their bodies and walking around the room, and
This kind of thing?
yes, or do something crazy to to become less shy, you know. If everyone could do a silly thing before the meeting, then people would become less shy
It's
because
a good
everyone.
idea, yeah. It's a good idea. Have you ever been to those team building meetings? Sometimes they do exactly that. Get you to break out of the normal, like, social role that you play. Get you out of your head. You know, like team building exercises where, you know, you've got to fall backwards and everyone's got to catch you.
It sounds silly, but for instance, if everyone had to imitate an animal, you know, it would be so shameful that then people wouldn't feel ashamed to speak up, you know what I mean?
Yep. They would lose their, here's the key word, Anna, lose their inhibitions. Inhibitions.
Inhibitions.
Exactly.
All right.
Lose your inhibitions. Good vocabulary word. Unfortunately, we've got to stop here, but I hope that you've learned some good vocabulary about how to describe positive, negative, and in between, right? And we've got some good ideas. I think in the next class, we're all going to imitate animals. So that's a good idea, Anna. I'm going to do that at the beginning of my next class and see how it goes. All right? So, what else? We've got to stop here. Next week, I'm going to try to do something similar where we've got a two-part class on an interesting topic. And maybe if you want to stick around for these classes on Mondays and Wednesdays, we'll do the class. But I'll try to set it up so that you can read between Monday and Wednesday to build up your vocabulary. And on the Wednesday class, we'll try to use what you've learned. So I'm going to do my part to help introverts by giving you a class where you get an introduction, time on your own, and then a follow-up where you get to speak and be more introverted. That's going to be my solution for the topic. Have a great day, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. for fun with phrasal verbs tomorrow morning. See you soon. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.